Hi, I'm David.
I'm Susan.
We're here in the library of New Thought Unity Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we're bringing you a miracle moment. We're just taking some of our favorite phrases and the things that we've embraced or that challenge us and bouncing them off each other and hopefully giving something to you in return. So I turned today to chapter 9, and there's a section 8, and separate from the text is this big thought. And both as a teacher and as a student, I found that it's just one that, well, you just got to think through all the way. Whenever you question your value, and this is something that occurs once in a while, say, God himself is incomplete without me. And there's another place in the text that I like too. I actually had t-shirts made once upon a time, believe it or not, that said, God is lonely without you. Wow.
I know. So you said, I was like, whew.
Right.
That's a big one for me to wrap my head around too.
It's a transformational concept, though, in New Thought. It really is such a great building block to understanding the power that we all carry within and what the difference is between embracing the Course and New Thought in order to empower our lives and be loving beings. For me, one of the things that it does is it helps me move away from any notion of separateness. It helps me get rid of any thought that, well, that'll be taken care of by someone else, or by someone else, big,
Right.
capital S. It places within me a responsibility that sometimes is the daunting part itself. Oh, you mean this is all up to me? Then I read more and I find out, well, with all the tools I
Yes.
have and the peace I can
Yes.
call and the ease
Yes.
of miracle. Okay, good. But so it's a tricky phrase because it can lead me down ego roads. But the power of it that reminds, and the cornerstone concept that it is, that we are, in fact, the human embodiment of God. And when we perceive ourselves or act as if we are separate from that consciousness, then everything can fall apart.
Correct. And I think the difference is when you said, it could take you down ego road. And that's, when you kind of get high on yourself,
Sure.
And, but when you know it, there's a humbleness and a humility with it that I think, to me, helps me feel the grace of it. I'm not high on myself then. Then I'm high with God,
Right.
and I'm peaceful, and so it can come through me, as opposed to getting high on yourself, and then you're probably doing stuff that it can be hurtful.
Well, because I find that the power that it imbibes in me is not one of grandiosity. It's
Right.
not, oh, well, now I can do anything. It's
Right.
not unleashing anything or wanting to force an outcome. Understanding also through the Course the notion, the peace that is God, God's will for me to be happy, God's perfect understanding of the opportunity to be loving in every case, the power of being unclouded, the power of never questioning, the power of, frankly, not having an ego. That is the power of being one with God.
Yeah.
Is that there, because of course later, there's lots of discussion. You can't have both at the same time.
Cannot.
So
No, only
when
one.
you step fully into this statement that God is incomplete without me, that I need to be there, that leaves behind the ego, and that's how it becomes such a soothing and empowering stage of knowledge and growth. And I will admit that it's one I have to return to because it's so fundamental, and because it's challenged a lot in our society.
Yeah. Well, you feel that inadequacy.
Yeah.
You feel that in, the times when I have felt the Holy Spirit and God with me so strongly, there were times at first when I just felt like unworthy. And I think that's part of that is like you have to come to the worthiness of knowing.
It's one of the gifts of the Course is
Yes.
it reminds us all that there is no separateness.
No separateness.
And that separateness is perpetuating a lot of difficulty in our lives. And all around us, and whether or not we were brought up, could you imagine having been brought up in a Course in Miracles household? It's church help. But no matter what our upbringing, we're still surrounded by all the messages that say, that's God and this is you. That's God and this is you. No, the Course is the gift of bringing it all back together.
Yeah.
And I mean, once I think I even had, or this was many years ago, a phone conversation with someone who was not on the same path as me, and we were just kind of exploring, and she said, so do you believe that you're God? I said, well, perhaps I'm a God.
Yes.
Not the God.
Ah, good answer.
But
Good
that was
answer.
enough to kind of soothe that moment. Now I have a better understanding of, we probably weren't even talking about the same
thing.
Yeah,
But we all are a God.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's inherent in us.
exactly. So let's move forward this week and today, reminding ourselves that we're getting rid of the separation. And a phrase like this reminds us that we are not separate. God Himself is incomplete without me. And so when I choose to be together, that's when the miracles occur.